When God fights for you, a deep reflection on Psalm 35. Some battles are beyond human strength. There are times when accusations rise against you, when enemies scheme behind closed doors, when injustice seems to have the upper hand. Have you ever felt helpless in the face of opposition? Have you ever longed for a divine intervention, a moment when God Himself steps in to defend, to shield, and to restore justice?
Psalm 35 is a cry from the depths of such desperation.
It is not merely a poetic expression of struggle, but a battle hymn, a warrior's prayer, a plea for divine justice. King David, the man after God's own heart, penned these words at a time when he faced not only physical threats, but betrayal, slander, and malicious attacks. His prayer was raw and urgent, yet filled with unwavering trust in God's power to deliver. God is the divine advocate. Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. David does not ask for a mere show of sympathy. He asks for a divine courtroom battle. The word plead here is the Hebrew word raib, often used in legal contexts. It is as if David is standing in a heavenly courtroom, petitioning the judge of all creation to take up his case. He does not seek to defend himself. He entrusts his defense entirely to God. Have you ever been falsely accused? Have you ever been in a situation where your reputation was under attack and you had no way to clear your name?
This verse reminds us that God Himself is our advocate.
In a world where truth can be twisted and injustice can prevail, we serve a God who sees all, knows all, and ultimately will bring forth righteousness. God is the warrior who defends.
Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help.
This verse paints an image of God as a mighty warrior. The shield, Magen, was the small, maneuverable shield used in close combat, while the buckler, Tzinah, was the large shield that covered the entire body. David is asking God not only for defensive protection, but for active intervention in the battle. Can you see it? The Almighty standing between you and your enemies, holding both a small and a large shield, prepared for every kind of attack, whether near or far. When life feels like a battlefield, this verse is a reminder that God does not stand idly by. He arms Himself for your sake. God as the rescuer and redeemer. Draw out also the spear and stop the way against them that persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation.
There is power in hearing God speak.
David does not only ask for visible protection, he longs for a word from the Lord.
Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation.
Sometimes, in the midst of trouble, what we need most is not just a change in circumstances, but a reassurance from God that He is with us.
Imagine the Israelites at the edge of the Red Sea.
The Egyptian army pursued them from behind, and the vast waters stretched before them. Fear gripped their hearts, but then God spoke through Moses, Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And in an instant the sea parted. When you are surrounded, when there seems to be no way out, listen for His voice. He is your salvation. The downfall of the wicked. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. David does not pray for revenge. He prays for divine justice. The word confounded, bosh, means to be utterly humiliated, and put to shame, chapa, signifies disgrace. This is not a petty request for personal vindication, but an appeal for the righteousness of God to prevail. History has shown time and again that evil plans do not stand forever. Haman plotted against Mordecai and the Jews, yet he was hanged on the very gallows he built. The enemies of Daniel conspired against him, but they themselves were thrown into the lion's den. In the end, those who plot evil find their own downfall, the scattering of the enemy. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Chaff is the worthless husk that is blown away during the winnowing process. It is powerless against the wind. This verse speaks of complete and utter defeat. When God intervenes, the enemy has no foundation, no weight, no substance. They are scattered like dust. We see this imagery fulfilled throughout Scripture. When God delivered Israel from Egypt, the pursuing army was drowned in the sea. When Gideon's 300 men faced the vast Midianite army, they did not need swords. God caused confusion, and the enemy turned against themselves. The enduring assurance of Psalm 35. Psalm 35 is not merely an ancient prayer. It is a promise. It assures us that no matter how fierce the battle, no matter how unjust the accusation, no matter how powerful the enemy may seem, God fights for his people. He pleads our cause, shields us from harm, speaks peace to our souls, and ultimately brings justice. If today you find yourself in a battle, whether in your personal life, your career, or your faith, know this: you are not alone. The same God who defended David, who stood by Moses, who fought for Gideon, stands with you.
So pray with confidence.
Stand with courage. Trust in his justice. And as you do, listen for that quiet but powerful voice whispering to your heart, "I am your salvation."